Welcome to another episode of General Hospital Spotlight on ABC11.com. Guest this week, Rory Gibson, better known to GH fans as Michael Corinthos. Rory, thanks a lot for jumping on here with us for a few minutes.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
So you've been Michael Corinthos for, what are we looking at, 5, 6 months now, right? In that time frame?
Uh, yeah, I think I started airing in May, I believe. So yeah, just about.
Oh yeah, on air 5 or 6 months, right? And to
Yeah.
say you crashed onto the scene, coming in at the end of the nurse's ball would be, an understatement. Talk about what attracted you to the role of Michael.
It was interesting the way it came about because initially I wasn't going out for Michael. Initially I was going out for the character of Vaughn, the WSB agent. So that's kind of how I first got into the mix of all things GH. I went in there and I did a chemistry read with Eden, who oddly enough now plays my sister on the show. Um, Went in and did a chem read with her. It felt like it went really well. Had like a very quick chat with the producers and Frank afterwards. And I can kind of see the wheels turning as we were chatting, but I didn't know necessarily if that was a good thing or a bad thing. And then about a week passed after that, and then they got back to me and they said that that role wasn't happening, but they were interested in, giving me or not giving me, having me audition for a different role. And they were kind of shrouding it in secrecy, which made me think that it was like, oh, this must be like kind of a big deal. So that got me a little bit more excited about the role. And then through some investigation through friends who were like very, very big fans of the show, I was able to figure out that it was Michael, in fact. And it got me pretty pumped because I found out where he was in his life at that moment. And it just seemed complicated and it seemed messy and interesting. And I found that really exciting. So I think that's kind of what really drew me into wanting to take hold of this role.
What's been the fan response, though?
It's interesting because I try to stay away from that stuff for the most part, especially coming into this new one, because I had been a recast before and it went fine enough, but there were some people who weren't totally stoked about me jumping onto the scene just because I was replacing someone who had been there for a long time, just like I was with this one as well. So I was a little apprehensive about, really paying too much attention to the online response. But then I had some friends and family members who were telling me that it was pretty positive. So I was like, oh, that's nice. So I started kind of keeping my eyes peeled a little bit more for when they were coming my way. And the fans have just been unbelievably lovely. They've been so, so kind to me and so welcoming. And I truly can't thank them enough. So it's been really, really nice.
Let's just jump ahead to talk about the first day. You step on scene and boom, you're crashing the nurse's ball
Yeah.
and Michael's back.
Yeah, it was an interesting way to kind of jump into the mix of everything because usually with soaps or with recasts or something or with any show really you're going to jump in and your first scene is going to be with one maybe two people, whatever. My very first scene was with the entirety of the cast, so it was very interesting, especially the way that we went about it because I come from this hallway. So essentially before I met almost anyone. I'd met the people that I had screen tested with, but that was it. So we run the first rehearsal and I hadn't really made face with anyone, hadn't like met, talked to too many people. I just bust through this door, pick up the kid, take off out of there. So everyone is looking at me with fresh eyes, like for the first time in that scene. So I wasn't nervous. It wasn't like a nerve-wracking situation, but I was hyper aware of how unique and kind of peculiar of a situation it was because it's like very first scene, all eyes on me, literally the entire cast. This is weird. This is a weird way to jump into this. But it worked out nicely and everyone there has been so cool to me. So yeah, it was a nice way to kind of get thrown into the fire, for lack of better terms.
Storyline wise, you came in, Michael's, you know, in the couldn't I guess you could say he couldn't be in any deeper waters than he is right now, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you're divorce, custody hearing, and we'll get into attempted murder in just a second. But you've basically been thrown into the deep end right off the bat.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much, man. But I find it very exciting. I kind of wouldn't have it any other way. It makes going to work fun. And yeah, it's funny too because like I'll have people asking me like what's happening and where we're going with it. And a lot of the times I don't even know. Like I know what's going to happen about a week and a half in advance of us filming it. And then we have pretty much from what I can remember, like a 1 month turnaround. So I'm not finding things out much sooner than people who are watching the show. So I find it exciting too when I'm getting these scripts. It's all happening fresh for me as well. Yeah, it's crazy stuff going on right now. This guy has a very chaotic life.
Talk a couple different storylines that you're kind of involved in. We'll go to the most recent. You never got the chance to obviously to work with Leslie Charlson, but
Yeah.
you're having seen your Michael's on-screen eulogy. You can even feel it from you that you at least knew and respected the legend of Leslie, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I felt a pretty big responsibility when it came to those scenes because I essentially, as far as I know, am like the only person who was in that room that didn't get to work with her. And I wanted to make sure that, I was honoring the text and I was honoring her and I wasn't going to let anyone down because it was a big deal. And I wasn't totally sure how I was going to approach these things. I've dealt with a lot of loss in my life as well. So like I have an understanding of what these things feel like, but it made it a lot easier to kind of fall into it because of the feeling in the room and the feeling of all of my castmates, especially Steve. I had Steve right next to me essentially the whole time. And just like the emotional depth that he had in those scenes, it was really a sight to see. It was quite incredible and it was quite moving. So, if you're surrounded by that much genuine love and feeling for a person, it's hard not to. It's pretty infectious. So I kind of fell into the same feeling as everyone else. And yeah, I'm sad I never got to know her, but I'm honored that I got to be a part of her story at the end.
Speaking of working with legends, you're now working with probably one of the goats of daytime television, Erica Slezak.
Yeah, she's incredible. She's such a gem, and she's just, I mean, it goes without saying, an unbelievable actress. She's so, so talented. Like even during rehearsals, like in rehearsals, I don't like to let loose too much because I feel like I lose what I'm going to do then in the performance, but she's just able to hit it every single time. Like her performances could, or her rehearsals could have been takes that they were perfect. She hits the mark every single time. And just her diligence in the way she works and how professional she is, but all kind of with this undertone of genuine love and care. I really, really treasure the time that I got to spend with her over these past couple of weeks. She's absolutely incredible.
It's Monica's house.
This is Monica's house.
Actually, this is Monica's house.
It's Monica's house.
This is Monica's house.
Well, it is Monica's house.
Alan gave it to her. That's still a thing?
As we know, it's Monica's house. Alan gave it to her, but with Monica being gone, who would Michael like to see Monica give the house to?
Ooh, 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 ooh. I think
Or let me
I
phrase it.
do.
What would the Quartermain reaction be if it's Michael's house, Monica gave it to him?
I feel like people would be okay with that. I feel like they'd be okay with it. They might be a little worried, just considering the kind of like state of mind Michael has been in since he's come back. He's quite a bit different now, and he can get a bit angry here and there. So I don't think they'd be surprised, but maybe like a base level of concern there if Michael does get the house, I think.
And now we also know that, who knows? There's a chance Michael might not even be around much longer. He may be serving time in Pentonville. You know,
I don't know. He's
did
he's tied up in some pretty intense stuff right now. Who knows what's going to happen?
I mean he's one of the top suspects of Drew's shooting. How much fun is that storyline been just to, especially with Cameron and Katie?
I'm having a blast. I really, really am. First off, just working with Cam and Katie is always a joy, no matter what the scenes entail. Just because they're two of the loveliest people you could ever spend any time with. They're unbelievably kind, sweet, generous humans, uh, which kind of makes it all the more fun to play those kind of scenes with them because it's just so out of character, yeah, for who they like actually are. Me and Katie joke all the time because her room's right across from mine. It's like, I wonder if we'll ever have a scene where we're not just screaming in each other's faces. Uh, but no, it's been a pleasure. It's been exciting. It's been fun. It's been dynamic. They're incredible to work with. They're incredible scene partners. It feels so real while it's happening, and then the second it's cut, it's just hugs and laughs and love. So it's been an absolute pleasure.
Obviously, we have no idea where this is going. The
Mhm.
question I have is, did Michael do it?
I mean, I don't think he'd be necessarily opposed, but I don't know. I don't know. You're gonna have to stay tuned and see what happens.
Exactly. Being the new guy, we got a couple things coming up that you've never done before. First off, you're a presenter at the upcoming Daytime Emmy Awards. Just talk
Yeah.
about what do you know what I assume you know what category you're presenting for. And
No, not
oh, you
yet.
don't. Okay.
No, no, not yet. I'm curious to see though. I know who I'm presenting with, if I'm allowed to say that.
I think
Um,
yeah.
I know who I'm presenting with, but I don't know what category it's going to be. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. I've never done anything like that before, so should be a good time.
And next year we're hoping instead of presenting, you'll be receiving, right?
Oh, that would be an honor. That would be so so cool. Yeah, yeah. If that happens, I'd be over the moon. But
Well,
if not, it's
your
all good.
first
There's a
six
lot of
months, you've
really
got plenty
talent.
of material to work with, right? I mean, come on.
Oh, thanks, dude. Thank you so much. That means a lot.
And also coming up the end of October, the annual General Hospital fan event at Graceland. You were making an appearance to talk about what that means to you to be a part of that event and getting to meet what's literally going to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fans and spend an entire weekend with them.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure like what to expect. I know it's going to be a good time. I know it's going to be a lot of fun, but I have only been to two fan events before, and they were on a much, much smaller scale. And I know this one's kind of like the big one of the year, and it's quite a big deal. So I'm excited. I'm excited to meet everyone and get some FaceTime with the people who allow me to do what I love to do, which is incredible. So yeah, I'm just excited to give some time back and let them know how much I appreciate them because I wouldn't get to do this if it wasn't for their loyalty to the show.
There's a darker side to Michael now. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I haven't seen much, if kind of any, of what was, happening or episodes prior to when I was airing, just because I didn't want to be too influenced by things because, it's trying to replicate what someone else does isn't really possible because only they can do it the way they do it. So I really had to try to make this character my own and just hope for the best that it was going to work out. And fortunately, it seems so far that it has. And it's funny because I personally, like, in real life, I think of myself as a more kind of like mellow, calm person. But when it comes to acting, I do much prefer to go to those kind of intense places. Don't know why. It's just always been like kind of what I've leaned into. And with this, I saw an opportunity to do that to a pretty extreme extent. So I was like, all right, if no one tells me to stop, I'm gonna roll with it. I'm gonna go this way with it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I tried. Uh, and yeah, the response has been cool from both the fans and from the higher ups. They seem like they want to go full force with, this kind of like darker version of Michael.
What would you like to see the writers do with Michael's character in the future?
Oh, ooh.
Potential
If
love interest, keeping man out of
yeah.
jail, For,
I definitely want to keep kind of trekking down this route of kind of chaos, I guess, just because it keeps it fun, keeps it interesting, like definitely want him to have some happiness and some love in his life as well, but it's a soap. We got to keep it exciting, so I like the route we're on right now, and I hope we kind of stay going down that route. And then yeah, just to kind of like mix things up and make it interesting and add another dynamic to it. Yeah, get some sort of romance going in there, whether that's a love triangle of sorts, a rekindling of sorts, or something new happening.
last question. I always end these things with this. What can fans expect over the next, like you said, about a month or so in advance? What can the fans expect with Michael in the next month or so?
A whole lot of chaos and a whole lot of angst and a lot of brooding, I guess.